Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I chat with Veridiana Teng. She's a Brazilian designer in Paris who first started designing for drag queens and burlesque shows. Now we talk more about her designs and how they're changing the Paris fashion world. So welcome to the show, Veridiana. How are you?
I'm so good. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for making time. I'm so happy to share your work. It's fascinating what you've done, but I always like to ask people what brought them to Paris. So you're originally from Brazil. Talk a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah, so I'm originally from São Paulo, Brazil, and I always had this kind of tick of like moving to Paris and coming to Paris to study fashion, of course. So I came to Paris in 2019, I believe, to study fashion design. So I had my bachelor degree, and after that I just decided to stay. You know, like all my friends are here, my work is here, and I love Paris, so I just stayed.
Especially in your line of work. I mean, your work intersects at fashion, performance, identity. Talk a little bit about what came first for you, the desire to create or the need to express something deeper about yourself.
I think it was definitely, we always want to create. I think creative people always want to like keep creating. We have this abundance of ideas and we just want to keep spilling it out. But I think it was definitely a little bit of both, I would say. Like is wanting to express myself and express what I had inside, but at the same time it's just like you need to find a way to put it out there, you know? So I think it's a little bit of a mix of both.
Yeah, definitely. I think we all struggle with that. And talk a little bit about how growing up in Brazil shaped your relationship to the body, sensuality, and self-expression.
I think as Latins, like we're very comfortable with bodies and like showing the physique, and we like to show the curves and everything. So, but growing up, I didn't think that was such a big deal to me, to be very honest, because like when you grow up surrounded by the colors, the curves, the heat, the warmth, you don't think that's so special as when you leave your environment. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Definitely. Yeah, you were already in it, so you didn't know any different.
yeah. So I think once I moved here, like that was when I could see in a bigger picture how special that is, and how like wanting to embrace the natural silhouettes, embrace be a little bit more extravagant towards like with colors and play more around with shapes and be very out there with and explore more of colors and the nature. I think I just noticed how beautiful and lucky I was growing up with that when I moved here, because I love the French classic style and the how chic it is and how effortless it is. But I definitely do think my style goes a little bit more like with the Latin roots that I have, and I just got to know that when I moved here, and after a few years, of course, of exploring, you know.
Yeah, definitely. You could see how different it was from the Parisian style.
Yeah. I definitely felt it when I moved here, for sure.
So your work is deeply tied to performance. You started out working with drag and burlesque. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was actually such a big surprise when I started doing that because, of course, when I got out of college, I had a really big event in my life. I was a little bit, my best friend passed away. So right after college, I was trying. You're already trying to figure it out. You're already trying to find your path and find what area you want to go. And of course, I always knew I wasn't going for the classic path. I wanted to explore a little bit more and explore myself and explore my own ideas instead of like working for someone and following the herd, I guess. And when that happened, I think I started working with performers and burlesque almost as an accident because I wanted to find a way to make myself feel better about like, and meet people and embrace like the warmth and the happiness and everything. So I kind of felt like I fell right in as an accident almost because I ended up getting close to a lot of performers, a lot of drag queens, and when they knew I did what I do and that I did it mostly like corsetry, and so it was a little bit natural, mostly because I was really lucky to have met really amazing performers and people through my path. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, it's very different than what the normal, fashion road is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I sometimes I still like think that maybe things would have turned differently if I did that, but honestly, like I think is not I think like we need to have like always like a little space to kind of figure ourselves out as well. And I think like if you want to like try something new and different, you should go for it, And I kind of did it, and I'm happy that I did that.
Yeah, it's super fun. And talk about how that was designing clothes for men dressing as women. I mean, I'm assuming some of them have some, larger figures, like more bulky, or I know some of them are shaped a little more like feminine as well. Like, was that tough to design for such different bodies, but to make them like women?
It was very challenging in the beginning, actually, because of course during our training through fashion school, we train with like the same body, same like model size, which is very unrealistic even for bodies that we see day to day. So, because I was trained classically with a fashion school, going through the custom learning curve, it was a little bit challenging, but I loved it because I think there's something so rich into making someone look at themselves and feel transformed and feel powerful, and you can see when they try something that you made and it fits perfectly or fits like right in, or if, like make them feel confident. You can see how powerful that is, and that naturally makes you feel really good about your work. You're giving someone you're enhancing someone's confidence, and I love that. But it was definitely a challenge because we're not trained to do that. But
Yeah, it's a whole different world. And I imagine when you're designing for someone who's performing, like, are you creating a costume? Are you creating an armor or like a new version of themselves? It sounds like.
yeah, and that's the beauty of it. And I think there was so much learning as well, because of course doing like a ready to wear clothes or like a haute couture piece or a dress is definitely different from doing a piece for someone who's performing live or going on TV. So there's so many little details that I ended up learning only during the process of it and after. So yeah.
That's really fun. I love that. And what has the world of like drag and burlesque taught you about identity that traditional fashion never could?
I think it definitely gave me a lot more confidence, you know, because I think you need to, for performers as well, you need to, even if you're not secure of yourself or your what you want to do, you need to be very, you need to fake it till you make it, kind of. And I think being surrounded by so many confident and beautiful and fun people, like entertainers, essentially, like I think that really helped me to understand that there everyone has a different path, as every performer has their own path and their own way to do things. But what matters the most is you being confident to yourself and to your talent. And, even if you feel a little bit shitty one day and you don't feel so good, you have the power within you to make it work and come through it in a better way than you even expected. So
Completely, yeah.
yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence and made me understand that, like, I no matter the room, you belong to the room that you're in. So that
I
was,
like that. Yeah, you belong to the ring and that's beautiful. Even when we don't feel like it, you make it your own.
yeah, and you make it work. And like, also, like, there's something very beautiful about not taking yourself so seriously, that I struggled a lot during school and when I moved here and during my entire life in Brazil. I was very tough on myself and very meticulous, very hard on whatever I put out and whatever I did. So in the end, for a creative person, if you're so hard on yourself, you have this barrier that takes from you creating more and producing more and putting yourself out there. And I think there's something very beautiful about, like, understanding that you don't need to take yourself so seriously to put something out, and people will resonate with regardless, you know.
Yeah. I think drag queens are a great example of that.
Yeah,
Because they're
exactly.
having fun.
Exactly. It's always so much fun to be around. And it's not that serious. Life is not supposed to be that serious. We're just here to, like, experience and have fun, and that's definitely something that I took from it.
Yeah, they show us that in every show. So you talk a lot about claiming space. What does that mean to you, and especially in a world that often asks people to shrink?
Mm, I love to have this conversation with people because I think, especially, like, I'm an immigrant in this country, but before I was an immigrant here, my dad was an immigrant in Brazil, and I'm a woman. And as women, I think we're always born thinking we don't deserve to be the places we are, and we feel like we need to work a lot harder, or like we need to prove ourselves more. But it's not only because we're women or because I'm an immigrant. I think even men and everyone has this little voice in their heads, a little saboteur saying that you are not good enough, you don't belong, you're not doing enough, you're uh essentially that, like, there's always the inner voice in our heads criticizing ourselves. And I think we're our biggest enemy. Like, no, if someone would come to me and tell me the things I would tell myself, I would probably never talk to them again ever. I would completely, like, dismiss them. But because we know each other, we know ourselves so much, we're so hard on ourselves. And I think that's the little voice that we have that tells us that we don't, when we work so much for something and we reach the stage that we want it to be, we maybe don't feel the victory because we feel like maybe we don't belong there, or we want more, or it's not enough. And I think is a work in progress, because I also is still struggle with that, I think you need to kind of, I'm not saying lie, but you need to understand that where you are and the things that you want are what you deserve. So the rooms that you get in, you got there because you deserve it and you're worth it. And also, I always tell my friends, like, if you were not ready for something, the universe wouldn't put those those opportunities or put you in the room, you know. Those opportunities wouldn't even come to you if you're not ready or not deserving. So if something comes to me, is if you are in a room, it's because you belong there, but it's a matter of accepting that you do belong there. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, trusting the process.
Yes, going for it and trusting the progress and like the process, and also just being kind to ourselves, I think, because I think we always don't see the bigger picture. We work very hard towards what we want in our dreams, but when we achieve it and we are in the room, we kind of sabotage ourselves, or we
Hmm.
feel like we don't uh in French they say profiter is a
Yeah, we don't deserve it.
yes, yes. And but it's hard to also break this idea, because we're born with it. Everyone is born with it, with the being
Yeah,
criticized, thinking we don't belong and we're not good enough. So
it's so true. I mean, even when you listen to celebrities, like the ones who've made it big and they say they still get nervous, they still feel like they can't believe it or they don't deserve it. And it's just natural. Like you said, it's human.
it's human, and we is and it's and also it's the beautiful thing about it, is awful that we do feel like that, but it's beautiful because we can actually experience those things. But if you're feeling nervous and if you're scared, it's because also you care about it and because you love it. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
complicated.
I think embracing the fear. I like that what you said. Like, if we're scared, it's probably because we love it. It's because we care so
Yes.
much.
Yes, because if we didn't care, we wouldn't be scared. We wouldn't question ourselves. But it's a lot of faking till you making it. I think it's a lot of like
Yeah.
if you hear the voice and the nervous little voice of the critics, you have to just keep going. And that's so hard. I'm saying that, but it's so hard because I criticize myself all the time.
Yeah. I think we're all guilty of that. so, so talk a little bit about your designs. They feel sculptural, sensual, and almost ritualistic. Where does that visual language come from?
I was raised in a very religious mixed household, and I think there is a lot of influence on that into what I do. Mostly I do love um a little bit of like religious sarcasm, I think, in my designs. So that's probably what, like, you can find little uh word plays in into my the way I call my work, for example, because of that. But also I all into I'm all about designing for the female gaze. So most of the things that I do, the corsetry, the orchid accessories, is mostly things that I would love to wear. And it just makes me feel really happy to think that women will wear it and feel very powerful with themselves. Maybe it's not exactly what the outside expect, but like it's something that makes them feel really good. And I think the structural part comes, of course, from my background, the colors as well, um, the extravagancy of all of it all. I think it definitely comes from my Latin background and the way I was raised, like religiously. So yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's really cool. I love that you've combined all those very different things, especially in Paris where it can be so, everything's the same. You got your uniform almost, your
Yes.
Coco Chanel, and you're like really standing out from the crowd.
Yeah, and but is I've been finding it a little bit tough to break I feel like now I have better with time now I have better understanding of who are the people who actually really enjoy and wear my pieces. But it was tough. It's been really tough because I think like it's as you said, Parisians have like this uniform. We're very like everyone dressed very monochromatic, monotoned. How do you say that?
Yeah,
That's monotone,
monotoned. It's all
right?
like muted and
Yeah,
browns and
muted.
taupe.
Yeah, so I think is a bit different. I think it's gonna take a little hot minute to break into like French, the Parisians, but yeah, it's good to bring a little bit of light anyway.
Yeah, some color and fun. So, talk a little bit about Matadora Paris. It's rooted in handcrafted, made to order pieces. Why was it important for you to build a slow fashion brand in a fast fashion world?
I started Matadora honestly as a vessel for me to do what I wanted to do. Because I was doing for I don't know how many years of 3 years customs after school. And it's amazing. I love it. I love to create for other people, but it is different to follow a guideline from someone else than following your own mind and your own art. So to me, it was after a while, it was getting really hard to always do someone else's design and not mine exactly. So Matador started mostly because I wanted to do pieces that I would wear, pieces that I would want people to wear, things that I was feeling in my soul, and I wanted to spill it out. And that's kind of what my friends and everyone tells me, like Matador is part of my soul. And so it was the way that I had to kind of express what I had inside without following the someone else's guidelines. So
I love that.
Matador, yeah. Oh, thank you. Matador is a bit more almost like a place where I could collect things that I wanted to put it out, if that makes sense. Uh,
Yeah, definitely. Things that you want to put on, things that you want to put out to the world. And like you said, an extension of your soul.
yes, yes, exactly.
Can you walk us through the journey of a piece, like from idea to final garment?
It depends a lot. I've been doing a lot more accessories now, and but when I do clothes, for example, I it always comes if I see something or if I hear something. It comes a little bit if I have an idea from zero of like no research, no anything. It comes to me. I have to put it down, otherwise I'm gonna forget about it. So I have my little notebook on my purse all the time because if I have an idea, it's better for me to write down. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget about it. And after, if I want to come back to it, I like to come back to drawing and developing different versions of it. And very raw sketches, very awful sketches, honestly. But I noticed that I do this thing since I moved here that if I draw, if I draw the same, if I when I'm doing the sketches, the many sketches of variations, if I do the same drawing at least 5 times, it's because that's the one and that's what I want to do. This is the look I want to do. So from there, I do the patterns and it comes to also doing the prototype many times. So prototype, try it on, fix the little details, do another prototype, adjustments, and I'm very picky about fabrics and colors when I want something done. So that's a very, like, the way it fits. I want to make sure the way it fits one type of body and in one size, it fits just as flattering and someone else's size of body. So that takes a long time. I think the developing of a piece is the longest thing that I can possibly do. But once the pattern is done, it's just a matter of finding the fabric and then like producing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that you can try to make it for different body types. Because I was going to ask you, like, what's your approach to designing for different bodies, identities, expressions of femininity, masculinity? Like, it must be hard to design for so many different things.
I it's challenging, but it's I love it. I because I used to do a lot of corsetry to when I started. So that's most of my work that I have on Matadora now for clothing wise is mostly adjustable pieces. And I love the idea that you there's not exactly a size. So for example, if I have a there's a leopard vest on the Matadora website. I personally I wear the small, but I've seen extra small and medium sizes girls and men wearing it and it fit perfectly because it's adjustable, you so you can wear as you want and as you like. And of course, when I'm doing the prototype, I try on myself, I try on my friends on different sizes as well. I try on my male friends as well. So it's always a tricky thing to do because it takes so long and there's not such a thing as one body is the same and one size fits all. But the beauty of it is that because there's so much ribbon and lace and is this structure with the boning, almost like a corsetry style vest, for example, using the vest as an example. The beauty of it is because it's so structured and is so adjustable, you can have a little bit more of freedom when you choose when you pick a size, and it fits
Yeah.
beautifully on everyone. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. The corset idea is such a great idea because, I mean, I find that especially with Paris clothing, once again, it's only like one size fits all, but not really unless you're French. Like it's nice the idea of that this corset you can adjust to your own body.
Yeah, and also like I think because there's a lot of like the corset style lacing, you can it ends up showing a little bit more of the body, but and it comes to my roots of as a Brazilian and wanting to like show the body and make it you feel powerful, but I think there's always like a different way to wear everything as well, but it is true that like Paris is and France is very very much one size fits all.
Yeah, and definitely not as like sensual in the showy way, like they don't have the cleavage, they don't have the short skirts. It's like it's more like covered. So it's kind of fun to see something so different.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you you noticed.
So do you believe clothing can change how someone moves through the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think also like clothing is a very social, political part of art. And it's not so much like in your face, but I do think the way you dress and the clothes you wear is the way you want to portray yourself almost is like um and that's why I think a lot of people struggle into finding their own style as well. But I think the way you dress and the way the clothes are how you want to express your own image to the world. So if you we can even like when for example I dress comfortably or I dress in a way that I feel the most confident, that's how I know I'm gonna have a good day and I'm gonna be able to um, achieve everything I want to do. And when I'm walking the street, I feel I'm strutting in the street. I'm walking with confidence. I can do whatever I want. I think it's definitely like a protest of your own self, and it definitely can change everything.
Yeah, I like that. It's like a protest saying like, this is me, take it or leave it, but I'm confident, I'm comfortable in myself.
Yeah, and if you're confident and you feel good about like how you look, I do believe you will feel more comfortable and more confident to go after what you want. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think our shell is just as important, how we portray it, because it there's no way for you to show your soul in colors or in style. You show your soul to people that you know the most, and you are kind you're kind and to other people and treat people well. But I think the way you portray yourself on the outside is definitely a very important way of how people perceive you as well. Is the first impression almost. So
Definitely. Yeah, it's a way to show more of your soul, not just in your actions. It can
yeah,
be through what's on your body too. And like you said, gives you confidence. It
yeah,
affects how you do things in the world because you feel better about yourself.
yes, yes, and I think is a very powerful thing as well. And when you really want to express yourself like that, I think is very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a beautiful note to end on. And where can people connect with you, learn more about Matadora Paris, and talk to you?
Um, you can find Matadora Paris on Instagram. We're posting every day. You can see everyone wearing the pieces. So it's at Matadora Paris. The same for our website. So matadoraparis.com. MATADORAPARIS.com. And if you want to check more of the development of the pieces, inspirations, and more of custom pieces that I actually do, my personal Instagram is at Veridiana Teng. And I post more of the customs there. Matadora Paris is like a separate section.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing today, and I can't wait to see what you'll do next.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.